Today is February 26, 2026. Of course, the riffraff have to pay or have somebody with no IQ yell something at me. They're retards. Absolute retards. Because is it an attorney's office? No, it's a drug dealer emailing you. A child molester. A human trafficker. A person that admitted they human traffic people to pay off their drug debt. So where'd you get your information? A drug dealer. No attorney would ever send that email out. It's a federal prison. You're such a fucking retard to yell stuff at a rape victim. Maybe they'll do it to your mom. Break in, stab her with a hypnotic drug, causes sleepwalking. There's a whole list of them. Then there's other medications and high doses cause sleepwalking too. Drug her up and tell her to say something stupid in her own home. She won't even know they're there. Have her beat and raped when she comes out of it, never seen her talk to anybody. You'll think it's real funny when some rapist rapes your mom, huh? Or if they human traffic you, because they sell people. So why are they emailing you? The guy sells kitty porn. He sells children for sex slaves and be murdered. Maybe they're targeting you. Because you're a retard. And have no IQ in your head. Idiots outside. I'm so thankful my husband cannot hear that well. Because then they don't have to hear low-educated retards to show how retarded they are. Oh, that attorney said they didn't know anything what those agents said to her. Bullshit. Bullshit. Do you know what the guy in my old apartment said? March 30th, 25, my car's bugged. Break into the neighbors. His religious group was part of the first religious groups that showed up to help with this, help extort money from the government to pay some child molesters' drug debt to drug dealers off. Religious groups help with this, right? Don't have a bit of God in you, I know that much. And they were in the office with that agent. When they went in and talked to him, they knew they were scamming him the whole time, right? And when they were even listening, when they talked to that agent talked to me. And when he asked her about that doctor from before, she said she didn't know who he was. He knew she was lying. When they had her tape saying, the drugs and told to say it. So, I wasn't the one lying. They were. So where you're out there, retards, yelling stuff. Do you know an officer that works my case said, if I would have ever yelled weird with yourself or called an adult a name, my dad would have beat me. He would have beat me bad. He said, my dad taught me right from wrong, and that's why I'm an officer today. And I can't believe these people letting their kids yell stuff at her for some drug dealer doing this. Now, as a drug dealer, Officer Mark already told a lady, it's documented and verified, I was framed before and it was a drug cartel in my home before. So why are you helping the drug cartel, retard? And the guy did it. It's a child molester. Selling children. What did they admit in 18? The doctor they were using worked for the Florida drug cartel. What else did they say? By 19, he had never met me in person. What else did they say? They were kidnapping people and taking them down to Florida so that Jack the Ripper could run experiments on them. And they were selling people. So you're helping the human traffickers. April 16th, 23. Across the parking lot. Okay? After John's mom's memorial service. I had been asking Danny and Jen for months if they knew any of this little bit by little bit. They didn't know anything. He walks up to Gabe and Shay, my oldest grandson and his granddaughter. Said, I finally went to Dad, asked him what on earth is going on. He said he had hired some guy named Pete on his home. Was Pete and his men in our home before? Pete has her frame. Pete has her tape, the filthy, dirty statement. I've never met him. Unless, and I still haven't met him, I just seen him. Unless he's that Henry Moffey that I seen. He could have been the second man he hired on his own. I don't know. I've never met these men in person or talked to them in person, face to face. I don't know them. Dave hired them. 2 drug dealers were in my home. Where, the North Canton Jackson police, what was it, April 28th, 24? We all know nobody drugs anybody but the drug cartel. And it was a drug cartel in my home before. So you're yelling at me for some drug cartel guy scamming you idiots. Right? What is not funny is Melissa, my ex-daughter-in-law, where Officer Mark said Melissa could go to jail for involving herself in this. I'd hate to arrest her. Kids are little. Why don't we just write it up that they were showing off for Dave and his girlfriend? Okay? You need to arrest her. I heard some lady off in the distance said they taped Melissa admitting to Dixie that she was part of help hiring those people. Yeah. April 6, 25. We go over to Danny and Jen's. Jen comes out, Dixie and the girls are in there. Now, Dixie had always said she was too afraid of these people. Yeah, right. Okay? She even knew Dave's girlfriend, Michelle, and that retired Judge Pete scam. Okay? So I go in, I sit down, she stands up. Jen and Danny's house is really small. And walked over to the kitchen like 7 feet away, said, nobody thinks it's funny she married that old man. It's like, excuse me? And said, Melissa said the group of people they hired to watch her. Melissa was part of hiring them. She needs to go to jail. Like they have been talking all day. We all know that guy sold kiddie porn of those grandkids going potty. And other people said they have thought it was funny. They confessed to the FBI. They were taping people unaware in their home, including children using the bathroom. They didn't arrest them. That scare the daylights out of you. Then we'll go back. I'll finish out what I was going to say about those 2 agents that said, I'll just go ahead and say it now. Second day of the case, 2 agents showed up, looked like my son Josh. Look at all the people they hired to hurt her. We can use her as bait. It's illegal and a federal crime for an FBI agent to use you as bait. Turn you back over to the drug dealers. 20 years. I bet if they check with Paymer at Apostolic Church of Barberton, I bet those were the 2 that told on me. Before they talked to me for calling the hotline. That's another 20. It's illegal for an agent to withhold the informant's money for any reason. Another 20. It's illegal for them to say that an informant or victim can't say anything. Another 20. People were talking, said, where they were laughing that I didn't get my money before. They're ones telling everybody they stole my money from the government, that they're stealing from the government. They're so busy stealing from the government, they don't care who dies. Someone needs to stop them. Now, April 6, 25, where Dixie walks in there to Jen and said, Melissa said the group of people they hired to watch her, she needs to go to jail for that. It's one thing being a bitch and have your kids show off and make up mean games and pretend for the new girlfriend to get the house trying to scare you out. And that's what it's wrote up as. Documented mean games and pretend. That the group of people they hired to watch her before, the chief, now they're lying on the chief of police up there. I talked to the Portage County Sheriff, they knew nothing of this. Dave hired these men on his own, drug dealers, to run a drug scam on me. Okay? They're lying on the chief of police up there. They knew nothing of this. Dave did this. Said the group of people they hired to watch her, the chief of police gives special permission. No, I don't. There's no such thing. Fourth Amendment, policing agencies only under threat of life with statements with a court order can be in your home under threat of life. With statements in a court order. Fourth Amendment Constitution. No such thing as special permission to drug, beat, and rape and stalk somebody. Dumbasses. To break in and set up button cameras, watching people. That's illegal monitoring, voyeurism, and cyber stalking. Break in and do stuff to them, like drug them for fake confessions, Photoshop and frame them. Where they said they had the right to drug me with fake sodium pentothal reports, the hypnotic drugs, and told to say it. Huh? No one has a right to drug you. It's pharmaceutical torture. It's assault with a deadly weapon and attempted murder. Breaking in and do things to them. The way they described it made total sense. It's like, leave the dumb girl alone. And dear God, how does she make it this far in life? Okay? And, said some lady investigator said she's going to extort all kinds of money out of the government. They're part of the extortion plan from the government. For me and Melissa. And she said an endless amount of money. Jen's like, we want nothing to do with him. Some lady investigator asked us if we knew about the tapes before. Said we knew nothing about him. And asked me if I knew if a tape of weird with herself. Said we knew nothing about it and we won't have anything to do with it. She had giant bruises all over her and she was sick and almost passing out. And I seen her like that. I didn't put it together what was going on up there. I realize it now. And we'll have nothing to do with it. She said, well, that lady investigator, now, surveillance laws. You can take, Ohio is a one-party conversation. You can hit record on your phone and you can tape it. Can't be a doctor, it's HIPAA. It's a federal crime if a doctor does it. Okay? But otherwise, one-party conversation, you have to be in the conversation. Hit record on your phone. It's like taping a birthday party, Christmas party event. You can do whatever you want with it. Okay? But you have to be in the conversation. All right. If you give somebody permission to tape you on tape, you have nothing to say ever in your life. You didn't have anything to say anyways. But these people are playing people for their greed and stupidity. And said, even though I gave her permission on tape to tape me of knowing of Melissa's kids, it's me game of pretend they were all laughing about. And Dave breaking of the gunshot night. That even though I gave her permission, I can extort all kinds of money from the government. Sounds like we want nothing to do with it. The attempt of extortion of the government is a federal crime. Just the attempt. That's how much they're playing people. And she said, Melissa said that poor Dave had to watch her have wild sex with other men, or sit in the basement while she had wild sex with other men. I'm like, what wild sex? What other men? What are you talking about? I had 3 weird memories. I thought they were nightmares. Sound of footsteps. A syringe coming at me in the room going dark. And can't see, can't breathe, and screaming, and my whole body in agony. I thought they were nightmares. I take a shower. Well water was orange. Dry off. Because we had to wait a couple months to get the water treatment system in there. And I'd wake up I'd dry off and go to bed. Wake up with orange, lemon, grapefruit-sized bruises. Throwing up severely. In fact, I thought it was a well water giving me cancer. Sometimes I'd wake up, I'd be fine. I'd go outside, work out in the yard, come in, wash my hands, make something, eat and drink, and it would be a 2-liter Diet Coke poured in a glass. Go in and use the bathroom and wash my hands and come out and take a drink out of the Diet Coke. The room go dizzy and black, same thing. I thought I was dying from the well water. These people laughed. They were in the hallways waiting for me to walk by and stab me with those hypnotic drugs. They work in 45 seconds and you're sleepwalking. There's over 20 of them. Dear God, and people act like they don't know what a roofie is. There was LSD and acid in the 1960s, almost 70 years ago, 60 plus years ago. And nowadays they have so many drugs, and then there's prescription drugs, and high doses cause the same thing. These people have roofied, you are drugged up the same way. A U.S. Marshals kid twice. My neighbor Mike didn't know how he got home, didn't know how he got money in his pocket, how he changed his shoes, what he had ate that night. Tried to tell me he was a New York cop and thought I was pretty. I'm like, go sleep that off. I thought, dear God, you're stoned out of your mind. You're sleepwalking. My coworker Dar took a drink and it was the last thing that she remembered. And she found herself outside in a puddle of pee. No memory of what happened. You're sleepwalking. They call them mind-controlling drugs at Faith Family Church in 19. The Florida drug cartel that worked for Judge Peter's Bragg, that was them doing it before. A cartel. So who's sending you out those emails? Not an attorney's office, a drug dealer. Didn't your parents teach you about online predators? And some common sense. No attorney would ever send out that email. Never. Okay. And it is illegal for attorneys to set up button cameras. They are to be disbarred, criminally charged with voyeurism, cyber stalking, and illegal monitoring. Without the kiddie porn, without the drugs, rape, human trafficking, attempted murder, kidnapping, kiddie porn. My grandkids going potty. Endless amount of charges. They should have all got close to 100 years for confessing to those federal agents. And those 2 federal agents that look like my son Josh that work in the Belden office, the ones that were laughing at me that I didn't get my money, and the ones that said they used me for bait, people said they've been laughing that they were the ones that stole the case's money. Where do you think it's funny that 2 dirty federal cops are stealing from the federal government and letting people die? It's not. It's not. I bet if they check at Pamers, it was probably them up there telling on me. Now, going back to the recorded line, and they can't tell you can't say anything. It's a federal crime. First Amendment of the Constitution, if an FBI agent or a police officer tries to tell a victim or informant they can't say anything, it's 20 years. It's tampering with a witness and obstruction. If they tell on a victim calling for help, same thing. If they withhold the informant's money, it's 20 years. Stealing from the government. Now think of this. That's where on the recorded line, they already told Apostolic Church of Barberton, they knew I was being drugged, being raped, and didn't care. Because some idiot called me a faker and it was a medication error. Medical malpractice almost killed me. Next day, I called that agent. Told you, I called the hotline. I cried my eyes out. We'll have an agent call you back. Next day, the phone was ringing. I couldn't even wake up all the way. Had to let it go to voicemail. Even had to hold on to the wall later to get to the bathroom refrigerator. I was so drugged up, I couldn't stand up. And later on, I woke up. I listened to voicemail, fell back to sleep. Kept saying I couldn't even wake up. Second day, not much better. Third day, I made myself get up. Sat on the front porch, holding my head. I feel drunk and I don't drink. What on earth is wrong with me again? They were drugging the hell out of me up there. Okay. Got enough air in my face, called a witness. They said they'd witness for me. Went down and dropped off a card with that agent's number in it from the voicemail. Her manager put her in her locker, went up to Apostolic Church of Barberton. He's up there telling him. Paul Paymer's screaming at him, my God, I had an FBI agent in my office. He's right there. I walk off. Women come up. He knows she's being drugged, beaten, raped. He said he didn't care. He says, and then I go in and sit down. They follow me. Saying it again. He knows she's being drugged, beaten, raped, and he said he didn't care. She was going to be faking. She was sick. I was never faking. I almost died from medical malpractice. It was a lie a minister made up because he thought I followed his son and cheating on his wife, and it was my sister following her husband. It wasn't even me. And if she was going to be mean to the women, he was going to turn her back over to him. Can you imagine an agent saying that? Wasn't mean to anybody. I already told the hotline I had nothing to do with those people. He knew they were lying. Okay. Dave comes in, let's go. Threatens to kill me, went for a loaded gun. Put my hand on the console, beat me all the way home. Next day, rivers of tears. I call him. I tell him someone told on me. Okay. He calls me a liar. I tell him about the guy that threatened to knife me at Giant Eagle. He said, you liar, was there a camera above the bench? I don't know. He said, you either say you're lying or I'll arrest you. I said, well, he tried to kidnap me before. And before I can say Terry Coberly seen him, he said, oh, come on now. Even if a church person seen him. They wouldn't verify it. That's why I didn't tell him about Terry. He said, I met with that family in my office, the one that our father murdered their kid. Speeding, ran a stop sign in semi and killed them both. Those people that I wasn't even there. They were pulling your leg. Admits later on they were just lying. And all those church people that were just lying, pulling your leg of a 15 years before, and I had nothing to do with it, and some minister just made up a baby lie on me. They waited 15 years to hunt me down. And I said I really was sick before. You liar, was there a camera above that bench or not? He said, because I've met with that family in my office and all those church people, and I know they're trying to kill you. And he said, strangers lie. Now, conspiracy to commit murder is a federal crime punishable by 20 years. Why didn't you arrest him? They can't just kill people. Why didn't you arrest him? What are you doing making fun of the drugged up, beat up rape victim? They're basically holding hostage under drugs. Huh? What are you doing? You're mocking the almost murdered rape victim on a recorded line. I said, I really was sick before. He said, you liar, was there a camera above the bench or not? I don't know. You say you're lying or I'll arrest you. I'll come up there and put you in jail. Okay? And it's like, fine, whatever. Ha 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 ha. He let a serial killer go. Well, funny, isn't it? He said, no, I want you to say you're faking you were sick. Well, I told you what was wrong with me. I almost died from medical malpractice. And it took me 9 months to get well. I said, I really was sick before. He's like, now I've had that family in my office, the one her father murdered their kid. The ones that later on confessed to a federal agent they were lying so people would help out. And all those other church people that were lying, right? Somebody makes up a mean lie on you, you can't wait 15 years and hunt somebody down and kill them on a lie. His job was to arrest them. His sworn duty, he was to arrest them. Right? Not make fun of the victim. I said I really was sick before. He said, you need to realize what you've done, and I don't blame him for trying to kill you. He was aiding and abetting attempted murder. Recorded lie. I said I really was sick before. You need to realize what you've done, and I don't blame him for trying to kill you. Now you either say you're faking it or I'll leave you there. I said they've tried to kill me. So they will try to kill me. So you say it or I'll leave you there. Please don't let him kill me. And I start begging for my life. Say it or I'll leave you there. It's like, fine, just don't let him kill me. Ha 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 ha. Now what did he confess? Everybody knows the FBI's involved. They were in his office. Then he said, why would the FBI help a person like you? Well, they're going to try to kill me. So they've tried to kill me. So then the other one yells out, we could always use Pete's tape of Weird with Yourself. I don't even know who Pete is. And the only Pete I knew was my brother one time. I hadn't seen him in years. Talked to him on the phone. Okay. And I said, what are you talking about? Oh, no. April 16, 23, across a parking lot. Danny walked up to Gabe and Shay. I went to Dad, asked him what on earth is going on. He said he'd hired some guy named Pete on his own. Was Pete and his men in our home before? Pete has a frame. Pete has her tape. The filthy, dirty statement has to be a black and blue mark. I've never talked to him. The drugs and told us they think they're smart asses. So who is Pete? Some guy Dave hired. Right? I said, I don't know what you're talking about. He said, something else? No, I don't even know who this guy is. Okay. He said, I said, what are you talking about? He sounds crazy. He's laughing at me like a jackass. He's probably talking about one of my rapists. Okay. I said, I don't know what you're talking about. Why? I bet you're going to say you don't know anything about this psychiatrist for sexual disorder or wanting your brother. I said, I don't even know what you're talking about or who you're talking about. I almost yelled at him, why don't you stop lying? This one neighbor out in Navarro, somebody I was working for, said we all know she should have hung up on that guy and called somebody else. I almost yelled at him. And then I thought, I wonder if the other lady that used my insurance, if it's one of hers. Trying to make common sense out of craziness that don't make sense. When it's all just a drug scam, there is nothing to make sense out of it. It's just some guy Dave hired. Dave said it was that guy Pete, not a doctor. Get the idea? Some drug dealer he hired to drug me up and tell me to say stuff because Strange, his minister, hated the government. Government's evil. They'll come in and take your kids. They'll brainwash them. You have to hide your guns in the backyard and pipes. Doomsday scenarios he'd preach. Low-educated minister. Knew no laws. That's why they thought the FBI, they could pull a fast one and steal from them. With some drug dealers. Okay? I said, I don't even know who you're talking about or what you're talking about. Like I said, I almost yelled at him, why don't you stop lying? And I've never seen a psychiatrist for wanting my brother. That's disgusting. And the filthy dirtiness of this fucked up people. Dave's drug addict girlfriend, and her drug dealer father that's in debt to drug dealers to run a scam on me. A scam. A pathetic, filthy, dirty scam. We never even talk like that. We didn't let people around us talk like that. We watched rated G movies. We had a clean household. I didn't even wear pants back then. I didn't wear sleeveless shirts because I was raised in that religion from the time I was 10 on. I didn't even wear pants. I didn't wear shorts. My biggest vice was trimming my hair and coloring it with colored box dye. And I wore a little bracelet and a necklace. We didn't swear. We didn't drink. We didn't smoke back then. I told you, when I was 15, I think I tried cigarettes like a lot of teenagers do. Tried it for a couple weeks, stopped. In 2007, I was working in a business. I smoked for about a half a year, then quit. Wasn't going to their church. And I didn't smoke. I didn't drink. I didn't swear for 11 years. We didn't have, we didn't even have cable. We had local TV channels. We watched like Texas Walker Ranger. We watched Monk, Psych, Murder, She Wrote, stuff like that. Like Dave said, we don't even talk like that. We don't let people even around us talk bad. He had stood up for years ago when that church was making up lies on me in 2011. We don't even talk like that, Karen. We don't even allow people around us to talk like that. They're not a church. You know how mad it makes me when they say heads of religious groups were helping out? Well, you have no God in you. You have no God. Because what did God say? Not to avenge yourself. Huh? You're not supposed to hurt other people. You're supposed to pray for those that despitefully use you. Huh? Not to avenge yourself. So you have no God in you whatsoever, but Satan himself possessing your souls and minds that you think you can harm other people. Now we're going to get back to the recorded line. Okay? He said, that doctor, I told him, I didn't know who he was. I didn't even know what he was talking about. And then I thought it was that other lady that used my insurance. It's just a scam. Just some guy Dave hired. Okay? Scamming everybody. And he said, give me a real reason why the FBI should help you. My brother-in-law, Craig Davis, worked at the Pentagon under Dick Cheney. He was a private consultant for the FBI, unrestricted war weapons and spyware, and he traveled the world for the government. At first, I thought he was FBI or CIA, but if you work at the Pentagon, you're a DI agent. His one boss was a spook. I looked it up. If you're a spook for the government, you're a spy. There's a good chance Craig was a spy. Traveled in other countries undercover. Gone for 30, 60 days. No contact. Okay? He died working for our government. He said, have you talked to any law enforcement about the rest of your life? I said, the only 2 officers I've talked to up here. August 8th of 18, I had midnight, I had a light, and the security system came out. I called them silly or stupid. They said it looked like an alien orb, angry spirit, told me if I had a dog, I let a dog handle it. They don't want bothered. You're kidding, right? I said, no, I've never even had my neighbors in my home. I've only had family and repair guys. Is that what's going on? Do you know if Dave's cheating? I said, I've never caught him. He starts laughing. She said she never caught him. Dave confessed December 9th, 18. Recorded him. I never caught him. So why is that funny? It's not. Okay? He said, well, I can take you somewhere and leave you with no money. I have no money to start. He said, if you agree to get information on Dave and the churches, I can open a informant program. I said, I can do that. He said, it comes with $5,000 a month. I'm loading the money on the card. He said, you'll have a life of peace as an informant, nothing legally stated, dated against you again, and only for you, and only for you. What do we ever do this for? We'll always put it back as it never happened. You can't be legally charged for anything again for working this case. Admit to no wrongdoing, and I'll take care of everything in the end. Okay? He said, but if you try to tell someone, I'll tell everybody you're crazy, the FBI won't help you. What did I just say about the law says? If an FBI agent or police tells an informant or a victim they cannot say anything, it is a federal crime, punishable by 20 to 30 years of federal prison. It is tampering with a witness and obstruction of justice. That's why Mike DeWine's cousin, Governor DeWine's cousin, Sheriff David, want to know if our police were slow and why didn't they arrest that agent. It can't be in a court order. It's a federal crime, like my friend from the prosecutor's office is a federal crime. It is a federal crime. You can't tell anybody. They can't say anything. Can't be in a court order. No judge can sign it. They go to jail. Talk to a criminal attorney, said the same thing. And what these people are doing is a big fraud scheme. So these idiots, these kids, they're saying some attorney's office is an online predator, a human trafficker, a drug dealer trying to get a hold of you. Haven't your parents taught you about online predators? He said, but if you need help, the chief of police of Canton's a really good man. He's my best friend. He always makes sure the Canton police always protect you. I told my friend Walter from the Starr County Prosecutor's Office, laughed till he cried. He said, first of all, that agent doesn't have enough authority to ask anybody to stay quiet. It takes a judge and a jury trial, First Amendment. It's actually a federal. He said it's illegal for him to even say it. Oh, it's a federal crime. He said he can't tell anybody that they can't help you. If an FBI agent or police tells anybody they can't help somebody, it's punishable by 20 to 30 years. Google. It is a crime. And he can't tell on you, but you can tell whoever you want. He can't say a word. Telling on a victim, calling for help is another 20. And no judge could sign it, taking any of your rights away. He said the only thing legal he did on that phone call was list your informant with money and immunity. He cannot withhold it. He cannot misdirect it. It is illegal, and the police know that. The only thing legal he did was list your informant with money and immunity. Karen, you don't realize you're in one of the many witness protection programs. Informants are different. You stay there yourself, and you feed them information. You get the money for risking your life to get them information, and they owe you. And they owe you for the rest of your life. And you're not only in a informant case, but a threat and attempted life case. These people try to kill you, and they could wait and try to kill you again. And you'll be in immunity the rest of your life. The FBI, the Department of Justice, will put them in jail if they ever try to drop you. The most they can do is put you in another witness protection program, but otherwise, you'll stay an informant for life. And you'll be in immunity for life. And that agent cannot just steal. And no judge could ever sign it. There's guidelines. I talked to a criminal attorney, same thing. Please. My friend Grant, his friend is an FBI agent out of state, said the same thing. The only one who could stole it was that agent. Probably has someone in the office helping them. Well, people were complaining those two agents have been running around laughing that they stole my money. Then turn them in. People have died. So, at least in Louisville, the teenagers and stuff, we all know it's Dave's crazy ex-girlfriend having people do this to her. Henry Moffey's daughter, short blonde-haired Michelle, the one that confessed on September 30th, 25. This whole thing is their family's debt to drug dealers. A biker pulled up and they said, the guy's running it said, no one's allowed to say a word to her in her life. They found out this whole thing was your family's debt to drug dealers. Is that what's going on? Yes. Does she know who you are? No. And I don't want her to know. She don't know who you are. And if I knock on that door, she answers, will she know? No. And I don't want her to know. She don't know who you are. You had her skull bashed in, her raped and tortured because your family was in debt to drug dealers? Yes. I'm sorry. She's not sorry. Was your family that incited her new husband's family that could steal everything from him? Yes. And that farm? Yes. And I really wanted that farm. I liked it. I listened to her and her friend Matt talk on September 30th, let me take that back. I listened to her and her friend Matt talk on January 13th, 23, that the Ohio drug dealers were threatening that agent's life for letting all those people be human trafficked. And it was your family letting them be human trafficked? Yes. Your family human trafficked people because you were in debt to drug dealers? Yes. So the people doing this admitted they're human traffickers. And why? Because their family's in debt to drug dealers. Okay? Listen to September of 23. They confronted her ex-husband that if he ever knew it was medication errors, fraud, and medical malpractice that made her sick before he said yes. Did you know that? Yes. Did you know that they had the original cart and they had let me take that back. They had encouraged them to sue those doctors for years. Did you know that? Yes. Did you know the original cartel had already confessed they photoshopped everything on her before? Yes. Okay. It's like heartbreaking. Where January, March of 19, Faith Family Church, there was a girl with blonde hair about this short, real thin, with a Florida drug cartel that said they worked for Judge Peter. She said she was Judge Pete's daughter, laughed, I'm actually Agent Will's daughter. No, she wasn't. She's Henry Maffei's daughter. And that she could have anybody drug, beat, rape. She just had to ask those guys. They were above the law. They're not above the law. Okay? It's her. But they were with people that said they were from Florida. And they were the ones harming me before. 18, they said they were using the doctor that worked for the Florida drug cartel. By 19, he had never met me in person. And real sicko was supposed to be having people take down to Florida, run experiments on him. He's a real sicko. Okay? Alright. January 26th, January 19, 2026, right? Bob Evans, Fairlawn, Henry Maffei comes in. Some guy, the first month of the case, the FBI case, I used to have an Instagram account. Text me, I think you're beautiful. It's like, thanks. He says something about love on a beach. Something where, I don't know. People talked about him in stores around me. And he drove by with the people that said they were from Florida and drug cartel. Okay, it's like stalker. Then people were saying weird stuff. Okay, I don't know him. Well, he comes in, he said, I'm the one that got a hold of her line. I thought, you look like that picture. Okay. He said, I proved to her ex-husband she was cheating by those messages. That's not cheating. That's you being weird. And Dave was dating your daughter, you freak. Was my ex-husband's girlfriend's father. And he said, I tell all men she's not good enough for another man. It's like, fuck you. You wouldn't have got a pity date. And he said the officers that watch her for the case, and I just mentioned there's a real FBI case. He said they were watching her dance around the car. Because I was in the car, I was joking around with Carl. These people that yell stuff at me, they need to embrace it and accept it. I'm in immunity for life, and they can kiss Agent John's ass, FBI's ass, the Department of Justice ass, the judge's ass that signed it. And they can kiss my protected government immunity informant ass. And I turned on MC Hammer, you can't touch this. I said they need to embrace it. Embrace it. And it made him so mad he came in and confessed. Seen her dance around in that car with her husband. He said they only watch her because they feel sorry for her because she acts like a big kid. They like me. There's a quarter, so shove it. He said, I'm glad I never met her in person. Me too. And he said, I told her new husband's family that I'd help steal everything in that farm. Found out his son was down there vandalizing stuff on the farm. Told him, Lee, stay out of this. I'll steal everything for him. So you're the will that wants land. You're that girl's dad. Because it's your family saying you can steal everything. Jim. And he said, now there's another, Michelle's a common name. There's a real pretty Michelle with long blonde hair. Is telling on all of them. I'm so proud of her. March 27, 25, an agent had dated her on a ruse and got it out of her that the doctor from before was not one of mine, works for them, and they had lied. Of course they did. It's HIPAA. No doctor can talk about you. It's illegal. It's a federal crime punishable by 10 years. See, these people don't know the law. And he said, and that she don't know who he is. They lied. That he was one of her doctors, and she doesn't even know who he is. And when they bashed her in the head, they tried to kill her and leave her incompetent, and it didn't work. Got it out of her ex-husband, that a girlfriend from before her had him marry her. And so that he get a job at her dad's factory. And she would have free insurance use, because back then you didn't show ID. Have my medical records for 15 years. Apparently one of Dave's girlfriends. My whole marriage was a scam. And we have fought a lot of medical bills. We got stuck with the copays. And she would Harry Carey on my insurance. And Dave's like, some crazy woman stole your ID. We have to pay those or they'll tax my wages or throw me in jail. Da 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 da. And here it's him and his girlfriend. Scamming me. Running up bills in my name. Okay. And March 27th, 25, that he got out of David was a girlfriend from before me that made him marry me to get a job at my dad's factory so she'd have that free insurance and he could give her extra money. And that family that was telling everybody it offended him, that he called her a faker, that they said they just lied. It didn't even concern him. Lisa's father killed her kid. She wasn't even there. And they just lied so people would help out. Well, April 17, 25, that pretty Michelle with the long blonde hair has having a meltdown because that guy broke up with her. Soon as I told that guy that the doctor from before wasn't one of hers, works for them, and they had lied. And she doesn't know who he is. And that when they bashed in her head, they tried to kill her, leave her incompetent. As soon as I told that guy, he broke up with me, and I really liked him. There's big government SUVs stop in the parking lot, and she's having a meltdown. And said that guy's an agent and she's some kind of informant. We all could end up in jail. Well, these people started threatening her life a lot. Instead of cowering, she went badass on them. You rock, lady. Okay. So what did Henry Moffey say January 1926? Found out Michelle's telling on us for what we're doing. Where December 1st, 25, an investigator showed up. Michelle showed up at my office. These people confessed November 23rd, 25, that this whole thing was a plan to extort money from the government. Her ex-husband was involved. And that the doctor from before is not one of hers. He works for them and they had lied. It's HIPAA. It's a federal crime for a doctor to be involved. And that guy, Pete, that's running his mouth on her, it's just some guy Dave hired on his own. She don't even know who he is. These people admitted they used hypnotic drugs on her when they drugged her and told her to say it before. And that tape of Weird With Yourself is photoshopped of washing in the shower and put in the other room. The whole thing was just a scam to extort money out of the government. They wanted to scare me into calling the FBI. They thought the FBI was stupid. They'd take their little scam in there. They'd open the case and hand them the money. They're so dumb. Okay. So Henry Mothy confessed. Michelle's telling on him for what they're doing. Okay. I have a judge's friend that'll enter everything in court and award everything to me, and I'll steal all the case's money. So he's a retired Judge Pete, friends with Ludick, letting him get away with crimes. He's the one impersonating that retired judge, and no one knew who he was. Framing a real judge. It's you. And I'll steal all the case's money while the FBI is busy with Minnesota. And I'll take off, and they won't even know what happened until it's too late, and I steal all the money from them. I thought, psycho. So I told the president where to find it and give him the phone number of Walmart 62. Of that guy saying this whole thing was a scam to extort money from the government. So the retards outside, when I walk out there, who's getting a hold of you online? Online predator, a drug dealer, a human trafficker. Haven't your parents taught you it's wrong to yell stuff at people, let alone adults? And another thing is, no real attorney would ever email you. It's a federal crime. It's a drug dealer scamming you freaks. And you know how sick this is? Okay, people were talking even today. And, okay, my intestines are damaged from being beat in my stomach so bad. I have large pouching. Okay? And they were talking about me being in the bathroom, using the bathroom. And then they were saying horrible stuff about me going to the bathroom. I ate a bunch of crushed up pineapple. John Bolt for what? Watch me go to the bathroom, you sickos. Oh, we think she got. I don't have parasites. It was crushed up pineapple. People saying they were waiting for her to die from all her injuries. She probably got parasites. I don't have parasites. I ate a bunch of crushed up pineapple. Apparently, it didn't digest. You bunch of sickos, what are you doing watching somebody poop? And when they said a bunch of them found out she's not dying, she just has horrible injuries from the case. And I think it's funny, they were hoping she would die, and they were following around a bunch of killers waiting for me to die, and they found out I wasn't dying. Now, if this doesn't scare the pants off of you, I don't know what will. Now, those two federal agents, they mocked me that I didn't get my money. The ones that said they were going to use me for bait, if they check with Pamer, they're probably the ones that told on me, because people said they've been walking around that they've been stealing from the U.S. government. They already mocked me in front of people in Walmart. Now, I guess they've been laughing that they're the ones stealing from the government. Someone needs to stop them, because it's not funny them letting people die for them to steal. I'm going to upload this. And so where you make fun of me, at least people in Louisville, that's Karen's will. Karen around the house is here. The FBI informant's here. The one that almost died to save her family. Realize. And the ones that are mocking me is a drug cartel trying to run a scam.